The Mirror Miracle. Discover how a simple mirror can invoke the deepest transformation of your life by Jennie Lynn. Today, someone is going to hug you so tight that all of your broken pieces will stick together. That someone is you. Truth is, you're the only one who can do it. So wrap your arms around yourself and make it happen. I love the amazing power of an inspirational quote, and I hope that one gave you a reason to smile. Pictures really do tell 1,000 words, because when I saw this one to the right, it embodied my definition of healthy self-love and serenity. Now, the picture that you're not able to see is of a woman looking in the mirror, hugging herself. I believe in the truth of this because when I finally figuratively hugged myself for the first time, my life transformed in a miraculous way. My name is Jennie Lynn, and I am honored to share a very powerful experience with you through my book titled Magnetic Love: Transform Your Reality Through Self-Discovery of the Infinite Mind. In December of 2016, I attended an elite Proctor Gallagher event in Toronto, Canada, where I had the immense privilege of meeting Bob Proctor, a world-renowned thought leader and a pioneer of personal and professional development. After seeing the movie The Secret, which he was featured in, I became aware of who he was in all his brilliance, and I fell in love with the concept of the law of attraction. Little did I know that this was the beginning of an exciting journey, or how I would ever aspire to meet this incredible man. It was at this event that I really discovered what my true purpose and passion in life was. And I decided I wanted to work with Bob Proctor. I wanted to share his message with the world as one of his consultants to help people transform their lives and live freely and abundantly. While telling Bob how I met my amazing husband, Brian, I felt so inspired to write a book to share our story with the world, and he kindly endorsed it with an amazing foreword. I have an unequivocal message to share, and over the course of writing this book, I underwent the very transformation that I intended to have for you, my readers. It was nothing short of a miracle, and below I will share with you Chapter 1 of Section 1 of my book, Magnetic Love. Enjoy. Along the journey of writing this book, I have been experiencing small shifts in my thinking as I incorporate more and more of Bob Proctor's teachings into my life and career. I've also noticed that the relationship I've had with myself has dramatically improved. This book was originally going to be more specific about love and how to find your soulmate. That was because once I learned to love myself, I found the love of my life. But I noticed that some unhealed wounds of my past began to surface as I relived and described some of the lowest and most painful moments of my life. It has really expanded into a magical story of self-healing, self-love, deep introspection, and a more deeper understanding about the universal laws than I had ever known as I raised my conscious awareness. It truly reminded me how far I've come. What struck me once I finished writing the book is that I'm not the same person I was when I started writing it. I love myself now more than I ever have in my life, and I experienced my own miraculous healing. I feel many of you may resonate with some of my struggles, and that you will really enjoy the happy ending at the end of this story. I'll take you back to 2012 when I decided to get into bodybuilding and fitness modeling with a goal to earn my pro card and quote-unquote make it big. To make a long story short, after 16 weeks of a grueling diet and training regimen, I hit the stage for my first competition, and I didn't even place. I swore to myself that I would never ever put myself through that again, and so I continued on to resume my normal life and just do modeling. After months of rebound and my body rebelling for the few months I put it through hell, my health took a nosedive. As a nurse, I knew something was wrong, and after months of trying to fix it, I wound up stressed out, exhausted, and 10 pounds heavier than when I started competing. I found a naturopathic doctor who recognized this, and after some diagnostics, I was diagnosed with a very debilitating thyroid disorder called Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is basically an autoimmune form of an underactive thyroid. I had just gotten in the best shape of my life, and it had quickly been taken away from me, and I fell deep into almost a depression because I was not myself. I was tired, frustrated, I hated the way I looked, and I felt completely lost. It took about 4 years for me to research this condition and try to get myself back to at least a healthy weight and feeling like myself. Because I still had that goal of turning pro in my mind, I had the urge to give the stage another shot. It took me 2 more tries, but I finally earned my very first pro card in late 2014 in the figure category, and this was probably one of the proudest moments of my life. I went on to compete as a pro for the first time 2 weeks later, and I had one pro figure and also a second pro card in physique. The momentum kept building, and the following year, I did the same thing and won a third pro card in bodybuilding, and it was an on top of the world kind of feeling. I got used to winning, but you can't always win. Also, I knew I was walking a fine line with my health, and it again began to decline. But this time, I knew better. And although it was difficult to walk away from a passion, I would not make the same mistake and jeopardize my health. In summer of 2016, I officially retired as a professional competitor. However, it was really challenging to assimilate back to a normal life when I was so accustomed to adhering to a strict diet, perfecting my stage presence, and following a rigorous exercise regimen. I realized that I was clinging to something I thought I had full control over, but it was really controlling me. I found that what I thought was balance was still a negative relationship with myself, the gym, and with food. I almost just accepted that this was the way it was going to have to be. For years, I had immersed myself in trying to find a cure for this disease, following every guru, but was fighting a losing battle with weight gain and fatigue, which is a bodybuilder and model's worst nightmare. I searched high and low for natural cures and researched different diets. I managed the best way I knew how, but I was still searching for answers outside of myself, looking for the right doctor, the right diet, or the supplement that would help me feel normal again. Now let's fast forward to February of 2017. It was almost as if overnight, all of those little shifts I had been making, they all came together. And I woke up this morning on the 19th, and I had more energy than I had ever felt before. I felt like a kid again, and I had such clairvoyance. I didn't see this coming, and it was a feeling of simultaneous peace and vitality and freedom. Now, this was in stark contrast to the crippling fatigue I had been battling for years after being diagnosed with that thyroid condition. I realized that the first time in my life, I really loved myself, and those seeds of love I had been planting recently had finally grown. I discovered that it was my own best friend, and it was amazing to see how a shift in my perception made me see myself and my life in a completely different way that helped me let go of all those vices. It was like meeting who I really was for the first time, as I had been chasing a perfect image of who I thought I wanted to be, but that's not who I was. That was the old me. When you begin to understand what an autoimmune disease is, you will find that it basically means the body starts attacking itself. What I learned was that my poor self-image, the self-criticism, was causing a battle inside my body, and I felt powerless over it. I had immersed myself so much in that disease that I was subsequently ignoring what it was trying to tell me. For years, my body was screaming at me to stop and pay attention. I realized that I have abused my body quite a bit, not ever thanking it for all the wonderful things it does for me and appreciating myself. I developed a very negative and unhealthy relationships with food and the gym. It controlled my life and left me chasing perfectionism. Because I didn't love myself and I was not perfect according to these unrealistic standards, I became very disconnected from my soul, and I suffered tremendously. My body was telling me something, and because I didn't know what it was saying, I couldn't listen. I also had such a narrow and limited thought process that was blocking me, and I was completely oblivious to the damage I was causing until my health was feeling so much that it demanded my attention. But once I raised my conscious awareness and started to learn to love myself and discover who I really was, I experienced the most significant breakthrough of my life so far. I realized that I needed to stop fighting myself and end this internal battle that was robbing me of my health. Every time I ate food, I never felt satisfied, and I had deprived myself of pleasurable food so that I could maintain this perfect body. While I interpreted this as a ravenous appetite and hunger for food, my body was really starving for love. My body needed me to nurture myself and heal all these wounds. And for the first time in my life, I felt in control. And I realized that what is most important is what I feed my mind. Food was just a Band-Aid, but the hunger never went away because I didn't get the message from my body to be able to heal yet. But all the answers and everything I needed were always within me. I finally realized what my body was telling me, and that disease exists as a feedback to what we need to change internally to get to the root of the problem. I had been reciting healing affirmations every morning for the past 2 months while writing this book, Magnetic Love. And this one morning on the 19th of February, it changed my life because I felt healed and full of life. I told myself that I am free of disease and that I love myself, flaws and all. When I stopped focusing on the disease, that disease ceased to exist. And as I nurtured myself with love, my body began to heal. And I shed all the layers and the burdens of the past. And I forgave myself for hurting me for so long. I always believed in self-healing, but again, I never knew how. And this was the first time feeling it, how real it was. And it made me a believer. I had finally discovered the deep reservoirs of love within myself, and that nothing external can heal me or hurt me, because what happens in my mind is what creates my reality. And when I changed my thinking, my life changed miraculously. Now that I have heard my body and soul speak to me, I now listen to everything it tells me and continue to evolve and connect on an even deeper level. Though I wish I would have never had to go through all that pain, it offered valuable lessons I will never forget. Growing pains are necessary in life because as much as I was tempted to quit or crawl up in a ball of self-pity and self-loathing depression, I have a strong inner conscience that keeps me fighting. While this was a battle I needed to win on my own, I do attribute much of my healing and revelations to the unwavering and tremendous love and support of my amazing soulmate, Brian. He is, and always has been, the wind beneath my wings. Failure or quitting was never an option for me because I'm like an ant. Because when faced with any obstacle, these little creatures defy science with their strength. I am now fearless, limitless, and so full of love and life that I just want to inspire others on how to heal their relationship with themselves so they can have flourishing relationship with others and a truly abundant life. What excites me the most is that reading my own book after writing it caused an even more powerful transformation than I had ever experienced. That is the power of love. You have now witnessed my incredible story of self-discovery and how loving myself helped me become a magnet for healing, abundance, finding my soulmate, and virtually anything I desire and have ever wanted. My intention is that you believe in miracles and how this can happen for you as you connect to your higher self. It is a learning process and a journey, and I know that once you get the slightest bit of evidence that your efforts are manifesting, you will become invincible. You will discover those deep reservoirs of love and believe you can achieve anything you want and attract anything you desire when you first create yourself as the magnet and fill yourself with love. I'm going to quote Wayne Dyer here. He says, I'm a human being, not a human doing. Don't equate your self-worth with how well you do things in life. You aren't what you do. Because if you are what you do, then when you don't, you aren't. So that is just a glimpse of what I share throughout my book, Magnetic Love. And I am so grateful to be able to experience this with you. I am confident that you would really enjoy the rest of it, and it offers even deep insight into the missing pieces of the law of attraction. My hope is that it inspires you and touches you so that you can experience similar revelations to be able to live the life you desire, happily and healthfully. What I would like to do now is share with you what made me spring up out of bed at 3 a.m. that morning that I wrote this, because the idea popped right into my head and I didn't want to waste any time manifesting this while I was in tune with the energy. It really dawned on me that this is how I am following my passion in life. It's literally what motivates me to leap out of bed like a child on Christmas Day because I can't wait to start my day and experience the gift of life and manifest my dreams. As I was asking the universe to help me and create the title of this article, I started to think about my healing experience. Almost my whole life, I've had a broken relationship myself, unknowingly until recently, which was cultivated by a perfectionistic paradigm. Every time I used to look in the mirror, my eyes would focus right to my flaws, and this became a daily habit. It's almost like I was so unhappy with my reflection, I one day said to myself that maybe I should just stop looking in the mirror. I thought how silly that would be to go through life avoiding mirrors. But it got me to think that the only time I really focused on my flaws was when I looked at myself in the mirror. It was that bad habit of looking in the mirror and only seeing a reflection of an imperfect person because that's what I kept telling myself that I was. And we believe what we tell ourselves. I wondered if this is what people see when they look at me. I had recently made a new friend, Brian Smith, who's an expert in the law of attraction, and I told him all about my book. He told me about a daily ritual of his that I should try. He told me to wake up and look in the mirror and talk to myself. Look deep into my eyes and ask God or the higher power to help me empower others. And after doing this repeatedly, that I would be able to meet my higher self. I tried it a few times and thought it would be cool if it really worked. Then I came across a quote that stated, "If only our eyes saw souls instead of bodies, how different our idea of beauty might be." And then it hit me. I finally realized what I'd been doing wrong my whole life and what I needed to do to fix it. I finally found the cure. I had nearly resigned to the fact that I was going to have to manage my autoimmune thyroid disease the best way I knew how, and that I was just going to have to live with it. But throughout the course of writing this book and implementing the knowledge I'd been immersing myself in, I realized what I had been doing wrong all along. My eyes could not see what my mind was not yet ready to comprehend. And I could not hear my body's plea for help to stop the perfectionistic paradigm and that sabotage. But for the first time, it became crystal clear. It was as if I had finally found that last missing puzzle piece of self-love to complete a picture of me so that I met my real self for the very first time. I had been habitually ungrateful of my body, feeling incomplete and unloving of myself. I was actually expecting the universe to grant me everything I desired, but I got frustrated when it would not manifest. What I discovered is that I was operating off of a frequency of lack, where I was trying to manifest a desire of abundance. These are two opposing frequencies, and unless the source is in harmony with the desire, the two cannot connect. It's like oil and water. When I finally shifted my thinking and loved myself, I experienced this miraculous healing. This became the premise of the title of my book, and how we need to first become the magnet for what we desire so that we can connect in harmony with it using the law of attraction. I loved the title Magnetic Love, but I did not fully understand its deep meaning until I was done writing my book and had experienced the miraculous power of it myself. How powerful is it that I can change my reality simply by changing my thoughts? Our emotions let us know if we are in a good or a bad vibration based on how we feel. And this is what the law of attraction will bring to us, good or bad. A major light bulb went off, and this has changed my life forever. A smile is contagious. And what better way to start my day than to wake up and look in the mirror and see my soul smiling back at me because I love who I am. How amazing is it now to love who I see in the mirror when only weeks before this, I was just a stranger to myself. What an amazing transformation my life underwent, simply because I was finally able to change the perception I had of myself. I cannot convey in words how ingratiating it is that I completely love myself and I'm finally healed. I realized how for half my life I wasted so much energy on criticizing myself that I had caused my own health to decline. And this destruction was blocking me from getting all the abundance and freedom I craved. Our bodies know how to heal, but we are the cause of our disease because of the stress we put on ourselves and how we perceive life, which disconnects us, weakens us, and sabotages our health. The only way to truly heal is to truly discover and love who we are and take care of our body in all facets. We must slow down in life and learn the necessary actions to manifest healing. It was only when I stopped focusing on and talking about the disease and trying to force myself into healing that I learned that focusing on the disease only perpetuated more of it. When I began to focus on self-love and affirming that I was already healed, I witnessed my own miracle and I connected to myself, to the cure of self-love. And that is why I called this article The Mirror Miracle. What began as an idea to write a book about love evolved into a book about a journey to an incredible story of how I healed myself. I am so amazed at how elevating my conscious awareness connected me to be able to speak to my soul and hear what my body's been trying to communicate with me for years. I am so grateful that because of my desire to write this book to help others like you, the universe rewarded me with the ability to heal myself something I'd been chasing for years. This made me understand the law of giving and receiving more than ever. I cannot think of a better way to share this experience with the world than by writing this book. And my dream is to help inspire others to be able to heal and love themselves and understand the incredible power of your mind. Every time you look in the mirror, realize that you choose what you want to see. So smile back at yourself because you're beautiful, just like my good friend Brian Smith always says. To be able to share this book with the world would require efforts much greater than just my own. So I implore you to read this book, and please share it with your friends and loved ones. Thank you for listening, and may all the blessings and abundance of the universe be yours. Now I invite you to come to my website, www.jennielynn.com, because right now I'm giving away my book for free, and I'll send you the ebook instantly via email while you wait. You only have to cover shipping. And for a limited time, I'm giving away free private coaching sessions so that you can get on the phone with me, ask me anything you want, anything you might be struggling with, and I'll identify exactly what's holding you back and give you a plan to succeed to attract all of your desires in life. So I look forward to seeing you there, and thank you so much for listening.